Shabbat Shalom.
And welcome to Washington Hebrew Congregation. Whether you are sitting here in our Kaufman Sanctuary or you're joining us on live stream, we are so happy to be all together. I'm Rabbi Shankman, joined by Rabbi Fischel and Cantor Hamstra and Cantor Bortnick and Rabbi Miller, and we are so thrilled to be with all of you to welcome this Shabbat as we are now in September, now after Labor Day. Summer's not over yet, not until September 22nd, but we're holding on just a little longer. And what a great way to welcome each other home back to Washington Hebrew, not only for Shabbat, but for a wonderful new year.
We are joined this evening by fabulous musicians who every week lift our prayers. We are joined on drums by Chris Barrick, on violin by Matvey Segalov, and on piano by David Lang.
And as we prepare to welcome Shabbat, we are going to welcome the parents of our B'nai Mitzvah to come and join us on the bima as they will light our candles, and then we'll connect with one another. And so we invite Adam and Amy Farb, and we invite Elaine and Aaron Stopak, and we invite Mark and Lissa Levin to join us and to come on up. And we turn to pages 3 and 2 in our prayer book. I think this still has it first. And then someone will have to light the candles for a blessing.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
It's somehow so big and there's no room, you know?
Just this one?
Oh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'had l'ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Mazel tov.
And as the families of our B'nai Mitzvah take a seat and we welcome them to our bima, I want to take an opportunity to welcome each of you and to give you a chance to say hello to the people you came with, to say hello to the people who you are about to meet. I want you to turn to someone sitting next to you, maybe a group of you, maybe people who didn't come with you here. And I want you to share your name. I want you to share where you were coming from before you got to Washington Hebrew tonight. And I want you to share with them one thing that is better to eat or drink in the fall than it is in the summer. All right? Oh. Turn to someone sitting next to you. Name where you were coming from. Something to eat better in the fall than the summer. That's it.
Anything pumpkin, yeah. It came back red wine also. I had lots of trying.
Oh, I saw you. I saw this. I saw a great thing online. It's like, we were going 2 weeks ago. It said, pumpkin spice has won. Everybody needs to accept it. Yeah, so pumpkin spice has won. Exactly.
Come, let us sing joyously to Adonai, Lechu Neranana Ladonai, page 12. Let's sing out together.
Lifting our voices in song as we turn to the next page, page 13, for Shiru Ladonai. Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Shemo, Masru Miyom Le'yom Yeshuato, Sapru Agoyim Kevodo B'chol ha'amim Higyotav, Higyotav Adonai, Umehura me'od, Ahol Elohim. Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Shemo, Basru Miyom Le'yom Yeshuato, Sapru Agoyim Kevodo B'chol ha'amim Higyotav, Higyotav Adonai, Umehura me'od, Ahol Elohim. Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Shemo, Basru Miyom Le'yom Yeshuato. We turn to page 17. And as we turn to page 17, we continue joining our voices together as we turn to Romamu. And you'll find in the Hebrew, halfway down the second paragraph, you'll see the text Romamu, and we join together. Romamu, Romamu, Romamu Adonai Eloheinu, Ve'ishtachavu, Lahadon Raglav Kadoshu. Romamu, Romamu, Romamu Adonai Eloheinu, Ve'ishtachavu, Le'hadoshu, Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu, Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Romamu, Romamu, Romamu Adonai Eloheinu, Ve'ishtachavu.
So we're going to be continuing with Lachadodi. This is on page 20. The first word, though, we're going to be doing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. You know the shtick. The first word of Lachadodi, though, the first word is beloved. The first word is beloved. And this is a space where we are beloveds. In the rest of the world, as you came here, you were fighting people for traffic. As you wait in the grocery store line, you fight people to check out. As you wait at the coffee shop, you're just, why can't that person just get out their credit card? Everybody's in each other's way in the rest of the world. But here at Washington Hebrew, you are not in the way. Here you are beloved. And we come together as beloveds. That's what makes this place home. As we get to verse 9, we're going to be welcoming the symbol of love, a bride symbolically coming in, or anybody who's running late. We love them too. And as this symbolic bride comes in verse 9, we're going to rise together on verse 9. But until then, we are going to sing the other verses together, 1, 2, 5, and 9.
We remain standing as we turn to page 28 for our call to worship, the Baruch Hu.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך. ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
You may be seated. Well, as the theme of tonight says, welcome home, everyone. Welcome home. Welcome back to the sanctuary, if it's been a while. Welcome back home, even if it's been, 6 days since the last time you were here for last Shabbat. Welcome home. In our Torah portion this week, the Israelites are preparing to create their home. They're preparing to get into the land of Israel, and we get all of these laws for what they're supposed to do when they get into the land of Israel. And one of these laws is that when you build a house, you have to create a parapet on the roof. I use this law just because I wanted to say parapet. But that's just a fancy word for like a fence on your roof, right? You have to build a fence on your roof. And all of our commentators have the same answer for why. Why do you need a fence on your roof? And what they say is that as Jews, we have to care for the safety of those within our home and with those who are in our home's orbit. God forbid something were to fall off our roof and hit someone who was walking by. That would be on us. As Jews, we are responsible. We are responsible for the health and well-being of everyone who is in or near our home. Washington Hebrew takes this commandment really seriously. This evening, in lieu of a formal sermon, you're going to be hearing vignettes, stories from each of our rabbis about times when Washington Hebrew has felt like home to us, times when we have felt loved, times when we have felt safe and comfortable here, and when we've seen that in our community. And mine happened the first time I ever walked through the building. Some of you have heard this story before. I was here for an interview, and the first people that the committee had me meet with was not the big wigs on the board. I love you, big wigs, but it wasn't you. In fact, and it wasn't even the other clergy. It was a room full of teenagers. It was our teens. Ira Miller was there. And they sort of looked at me like a deer in headlights. They had no idea what to do with me. And so I asked them some questions. And the first one I asked was, what's your favorite part about Washington Hebrew? And resoundingly, they looked at me. And here I am thinking this is a classically reformed congregation that's very formal. And these teens said, the sexuality retreat. Yeah. And now my thesis was on relationships and Judaism. If you know me, nothing shocks me. I was shocked. I was shocked. And I realized in that moment that this could be home, that this was home. A place that loves their people enough that it doesn't matter their age or where they are in life, but loves them enough to care about them, for them to be not just good Jews, but good people out in the world relating to others. Well, that's a place I wanted to call home, and a place that each of us is lucky to call home. A place that loves through education, that loves through prayer, that loves through community, and loves through creating this home.
We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are loved, loved.
At this time, we want to invite some of the people we love very much, even though they may be new in some ways, some of them. This evening, we celebrate all of our new students to our religious school, all those students who are starting religious school this Sunday. We invite you to come up to the Bima, along with our education team, with Haley Amder and Talia Raziel are going to come up, so come on up. If you're starting religious school, come on up for a blessing.
We are loved, loved, loved by
invite you to remain seated unless you are one of our students. Come on up over here. And we want you to look not at your families. You'll look at them in a little bit. You're going to go back to them. But you're going to look at the Torah behind us. Because on Sunday, you are going to start learning that Torah. Some of you may already know some of that Torah. You may know some of its words. And you're going to start a journey that we're all on together. So come where you can, make sure you can see a Torah.
Can everybody see the Torah?
No?
Here, you guys can come over here. Yeah.
Our God and God of all generations, we ask your blessing on these children. Today they come along with their families and with this congregation, Washington Hebrew congregation, where you're starting your religious school journey, whether you're going to be here at Macomb Street or at the Julia Bindeman Suburban Center. Both buildings is Washington Hebrew congregation. You're all part of this wonderful community, this home that we hope you will feel this is your home. And as we join you and welcome you tonight, we celebrate the beginning of your journey to Jewish education. And we hope that you're going to learn those words of the Torah that are behind us. And not only its words and its stories, but also it tells us how we should be with each other. And you're hearing some of those stories tonight, our own stories, because each of you has your own Torah right on your heart. So I'm going to ask you to put your hand on your heart. Yeah. We hope that the Torah is always right there in your heart. We hope that it will always taste sweet to you. You know that when you're here for Sunday school, you can always stop in Rabbi Miller's office for some chocolate. Rabbi Fischel and I do that too. But most importantly, we hope that you bring that sweetness back to the people who love you, just as we love you already, as we're already getting to know you and learning with you over the years to come. So we have a very special blessing. We're going to say it at the end of our service too, but I'm going to ask you to you can put now you can take your hand off your heart, but maybe reach out to an elbow next to someone. Don't elbow each other, but connect your elbows. We're going to touch elbow to elbow. Just we want to make sure everybody stays safe and healthy. So let's all be connected to somebody else. Let's make sure everybody's connected to somebody else. And we're going to say a very special blessing. As you begin your religious school journey, this is what we hope for you. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and watch over you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. May God shine divine light upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God show God's face to you and to everybody you love and grant you the gift of peace. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
We're going to ask you to stay up here for a very special prayer. Some of you may already know this prayer, but it's a prayer that connects us to all Jews all over the world. And if you don't know it yet, you're going to learn it soon, and we're going to hear it now. And we invite everyone to rise as we join together in this prayer that connects us not only to one another, not only to our community. It unites us as a community, but it also connects us to the one God.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed.
We're going to go back to our families, but I want you to just look over here again at Haley, Amder, and Talia Raziel. They are going to have something special for you after the service. You're going to make sure to find them in our oneg, and you're going to get two special gifts, and we hope that you'll treasure those, and they'll be very special to you. But I know there are people who are waiting to give you a big hug. So we're going to go back to our families as we start to join in the words of Ve'ahavta, the prayer that reminds us as parents and as a community that we're going to teach these words of Torah to our children. And we want to congratulate all the parents who are making sure their children learn these words of Torah as we join in Ve'ahavta.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol
לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
In just a moment, we're going to join in our prayer of freedom, Mi Chamocha. Mi Chamocha is not a prayer about arriving into the promised land. Mi Chamocha is a prayer about leaving Egypt. Mi Chamocha is about leaving behind what needs to be left behind so that we can move forward to a place we've never been before. Most of Israel, our rabbis teach, did not leave Egypt. Most of them stayed behind. It was the brave few who were able to leave, to go, to journey, to travel into freedom. And so we leave behind in this month of Elul, we leave behind looking back at the year that was and travel ahead together as a community, as one, into freedom as we sing together Mi Chamocha on page 40. journeying from where we were to where we are going. We ask for peace, for safety, for protection from God and from those who we love, who are here, who are a part of this congregational family, this home. And we turn to page 42 for that prayer of protection.
Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu lechayim.
Ashkivenu.
Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu lechayim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu We turn to page 44 for Vashamru. We are commanded to keep Shabbat, but we know that this is a commandment that brings us home at the end of every week. As Shabbat keeps us, we keep Shabbat. And as we keep Shabbat, Shabbat keeps us. Please join in singing together on page 44. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat ledorotam berit olam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat ledorotam berit olam. Beni u'bnei Yisrael השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Jews do a funny thing with home. We are the only people who has not been home for thousands of years. For thousands of years, our home is thousands of miles away. And so I was thinking about home as we were preparing for tonight. I was thinking about home. I asked my 7-year-old, she's here tonight, she can vouch for this. I said, what does home mean to you? You know what she said? Absolutely brilliant. Do you remember what you said? She said, home is where you are loved. Home is where you are loved. Home is where you are loved, which means that no matter where we go, no matter where we have gone as a people, no matter where we've gone as a nation, no matter where we've gone as families, home is where you are loved. And I want to tell you about Washington Hebrew because this is a place of love. And as you look on this bima, all the clergy, every single one of us, our musicians know, and I'm sorry, but everybody else, we are all on our first job. This is our first job. And when I came to Washington Hebrew was my first job. I had a full-time job. I never had another full-time job before. And this is now my 12th year. And in these 12 years, I don't have a story to share, but I have an arc to describe. Washington Hebrew, and being blessed enough to serve as one of your clergy, has gone from being a job to becoming a home. Washington Hebrew has gone from being a job to becoming a home, and that's the magic of this place. The longer you are here, the more like home a place like Washington Hebrew becomes. The longer you are here, the more like home this place is. And so I love that you are here, and I love that you are here virtually. I love that so many of you I know are going to be joining us for the high holidays, but the promise of this place, I can promise you this, and everyone else on this bima can too. The more often you are here, the more like home this will be. And the more like home this will be, the more I know that you will feel that sense of love, of connection, of community, of family, of home, that only a place like Washington Hebrew can bring.
We turn to our Amidah on page 46 and we rise. Adonai sefatai tiftachu fi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotinu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chastei Avot v'Imahot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei Bneihem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magin Avraham Be'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Atah Rav Lehoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed,
מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בגבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה, ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. So as we take our seat, we come to a prayer in the Amidah that is about Thanksgiving. Rather than waiting for one time a year to give thanks, our tradition gives us 3 times a day to be able to give thanks for all of the blessings and joys that we have in our life. And so it has become our tradition here that we use this as a moment for our congregants to share, for those of you who are here, to share with each other the simchas, the joys that you have in your life that have taken place from last week to this week. So if any of you have a simcha to share, I know some people try to plan, actually. They hold that simcha all week. So we always know there's at least one who's going to go. But if you have a simcha you'd like to share, I've given you enough time, we would love to hear your simcha. Yes. Oh, her granddaughter just gave birth to her second great-granddaughter. Mazel tov. On your mother's birthday, even more special. Wow, I hope everyone is feeling well. And so we say, Modim anachnu lach. We are grateful for this beautiful simcha. I saw a hand over here somewhere. Didn't I? I thought I did, out of the corner of my eye. Oh, yes. Oh, your granddaughter is sitting next to you at services. That's a real blessing. Lovely. Modim anachnu lach. Any more simchas? We have a good crowd tonight. There should be more. Yes? Yes. Your uncle, my brother, is sitting next to you in services. Lovely. Thank goodness for 7-hour layovers, right? Modim anachnu lach. Yes. Oh, your daughter and son-in-law visited from Vancouver for the first time since COVID. Mazel tov. Modim anachnu lach. I think I saw another hand somewhere in this area. Maybe not. Any more simchas to share? Yes. Oh, beautiful. For hearing from friends we've been waiting for. We say, Modim anachnu lach. Yes, I knew you would have one.
I read Island of the Blue Dolphins for the first time, and I really liked it.
You read Island of the Blue Dolphins for the first time, and you really liked it. That's fabulous. For reading new books that we love. Modim anachnu lach. Any more simchas? Yes. Your daughter's show Partner Track appeared on Netflix this week. Mazel tov. Modim anachnu
So did
lach. And you saw Partner Track on Netflix. How amazing.
And the rabbis binge watched.
We both watched it. It's great.
For good work, right? For lots of work, steady work. Modim anachnu lach. Beautiful. Any more simchas?
I have one.
Oh, great. I didn't
My
look behind me.
husband Eric and I celebrated our 5th anniversary.
Oh, hey. Mazel tov. For anniversaries, we say Modim anachnu lach.
My parents celebrated their 39th anniversary.
Your parents celebrate 39th anniversary.
39th
Mazel tov. Modim anachnu lach. We hope this is just the beginning of sharing for you, and hopefully throughout our oneg, you'll be able to find each other and share just a little blessing, a little joy that has lightened your life this week. And so we say together on the bottom of page 58, We say together our full chatima, our full blessing for Thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha, ulacha na'el hodot. Blessed are you, Adonai, your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving.
We know that while many of us came into this sanctuary this evening with a lot of joy, joy from consecration, joy from being back in this space, joy from the simchas we just shared, we also know that many of us come into this space with a little bit more weight on us, with a little bit more heaviness. Perhaps there is someone in our life who is in need of healing, whether it be of body, mind, or spirit, or perhaps we, who are sitting right here, are in need of healing, whether it be of mind, body, or spirit. If you're thinking of someone this evening, I'll ask that you share that name out loud with our community so that this whole community can think of that person and they can benefit from our prayer, and also so that this community knows that you are currently caring for someone who's in need of healing. So we'll start over here and just come around if you're thinking of someone today who's in need of healing. Thank you. You can just call it out. And all those names that we may not have uttered over our lips, but we hold in our hearts. We turn to page 253 for Mishaberach, Birkat Holim. As Rabbi Miller mentioned earlier, we're in the month of Elul, this month leading up to Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, where we reflect on who we were this year, what we've done, and who we want to be in the year to come. And so as we transition into silent prayer, as we take a few moments for silent prayer, I recommend that perhaps this evening we think about moments this year where we have felt at home, moments this year with people that have made us feel like we are at home. And in this year to come, how can we create home for others? How can we make sure that our warmth, our love, our compassion is being shown to all those near us? We take a moment for silent prayer.
One of my favorite stories in Jewish tradition is a story about a poor Jew who lived in Prague. And every night he had the same dream. And every night he dreamed of a treasure buried beneath the city walls in Vienna. I don't know if you know the geography, Prague to Vienna. It's not a short trip, especially if you don't have the means to hire a horse, a driver, and they didn't have, in the story time, no cars. He had to hike it to Vienna. He was thinking each night he'd have this dream, and in this dream, he dreamed of this treasure buried beneath the city walls in Vienna, again and again, every night. And he said, this must be a message. I need to go to Vienna. I need to find this treasure. It will change our lives. And so finally he set out and he journeyed to Vienna. And when he got there, he hadn't really thought about that. They have guards around the city walls trying to keep everyone safe, not letting people in the dark at night. And he sat there for a while and he paced back and forth and tried to think, well, how am I going to start digging by the city walls if there are these guards there? That's not going to be such a good idea. And as he was contemplating and thinking about what he might do, the guards noticed him. And they called him over, and they saw, he was a little disheveled. Remember, I said this was not a wealthy person. He had hiked all the way from Prague. He was wearing a kippah. He was clearly Jewish. And they said, what are you doing here? And he said, well, I've had this dream. This is going to sound a little strange, but I've been having this dream every night that there's a treasure buried beneath the city walls. And they laughed at him. We're here all the time. There's no treasure. We can promise you there's no treasure here. And one of the guards said to him, "If I believed every dream that I had, I would be in Prague digging beneath the floor of the house of a very poor Jew who lives there." And so what do you think he did? He went home. He went home and he discovered that there was a treasure in his home. Now, in the story, that treasure was buried beneath the floors of the home. His wife thought he was crazy when he started digging into the floor, and they discovered this treasure. But he actually discovered something that we all already know. And as you heard Rabbi Miller said, some of us for a number of years, for 21 years being at Washington Hebrew, there is a treasure here. And that treasure is each one of you, each one of the people who walk in the doors of our spiritual home. For some of us, it is much more than just a spiritual home because we spend so much time here, and many of you do along with us, that it is our home away from home, and sometimes it's our primary residence. Especially Rabbi Miller, who bikes his way here and then thinks that. Anyway, so we have this wonderful treasure that we share. It is the stuff of dreams, if you allow it to be. What Rabbi Miller said is so true. The more we're here, the more we connect, the more we feel at home. We find that each year as we stand up on the bima, not only at the high holidays, but week in and week out, as we connect with you. Not just from up here, but more importantly, when we sit with you, when we connect at life cycle events, at the special moments that we share, at the challenging moments that we share, and at the ordinary moments, both within our building and out in the community. I grew up, some of you know that I grew up with a grandfather who was my rabbi at my home congregation. And what I loved was I would walk around town and people knew who I was, whether I was in the synagogue or out of the building. And I had a friend who lived in New York City who came to visit, and we were walking down the street, and all these people stopped to say hello. And she said, how do you know everybody? And I said, they're my family. And I know that sometimes my children say, everywhere we go, we see people we know, because Washington Hebrew Congregation is a family. It's a home that we take with us. It is not, this building is a building. But more importantly, home is what is in our hearts. Home is what we take with us wherever we go. It's the love that we have and that we share with one another. And so my hope and my prayer as we begin to enter into a new year is that we each work to make this our home. Because as you know from your own home, we all add a little something special that makes it ours. And each one of you, and those who are joining on the live stream, and those who might not be with us this evening, but are part of our home and part of our family, bring something sacred, something that does not exist anywhere else. And when we are all together, and when we bring of ourselves, we create a beautiful, beautiful tapestry. And so as I think and reflect on 21 years of being here, it's actually very easy in some ways, because when I arrived, my oldest child, Isabel, was 10 months old, and many of you remember that, and she is now in graduate school. And it's like the passage of time. And Jacob is now in college, and Evie is now in high school. And I'm not sure how that happened so quickly, but when we were looking for a congregation, that first job out of rabbinical school, we had this baby, we had this child, and we had this family, and we wanted to find a home, a place where we could raise our children, where we could connect with others, and where each one of us could find fulfillment. And that's what's so special about Washington Hebrew. Whether it is as part of a larger a family or as an individual, there is something here. There's more than one thing, I promise, but ways to get involved and to connect with others. And through those connections, we bring something sacred and special into the world. And through those connections, each one of us connects with the divine. And so as we go into this new year, I hope that you will come in these doors again and again and again, and that as we head out together into the community, we continue to bring that sense of home and that sense of peace. And one of the ways that we do that is not just by praying and joining together in worship, but it's also by acting. And so I'm going to invite you now to rise as we turn to page 282, to a prayer that reminds us that we are obligated to bring this family, to bring this sense of home to others who may not have it, and to create a world that is more whole and more holy, as we join in the words of Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפניך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד,
Please be seated. We pause now for a moment of memory as we think of those who have been part of our own homes, those who taught us about love and life and brought light into our lives and continue to, even though we may not be with them physically, their memories continue to inspire us and to bring us joy. And so on this Shabbat, we think of those whose yahrzeit falls at this time: Samuel Augenstein, Helen Becker, Ethel Berman, Michael Burrs, Benjamin Blanken, Maggie Dworkin Block, Dora Brody, Jacob Bronrott, Bruce Dan, Adolf Einhorn, Bernard Ellman, Elena Friedman Epstein, Faye Fertig Fieder, Irvin Feld, Hilda Stein Frank, Carrie Friedlander, Mordecai Glick, Anne Rose Goldfield, Henry Goodman, Louis Goss, Judith Bazelon Gross, Rose Grunstein, Oscar Heinemann, Samuel Higger, Samuel Hoberger, Monroe Hollander, Milton Horowitz, Esther Ornstein Hurston, Bella Ladon Jaffe, Donald Kenton Janoff, Sarah Nell Janoff, Ann Dursky, John Kaplan, Warren Kaplan, Mortimer Michael King, Constance Ann Koner, Clara Adler Kraskin, Milton Kronheim Sr., Morton Kudish, Roberta Lehrer, Lawrence Levy, Julia Lux, Hattie Mayer, Cantor Saul Meisels, Elaine Carliner Millstone, Robert Mitchell Minkoff, Carol Nesbitt, Isaac Norlinger, Gertrude Oblon, Charles Ornstein, Beatrice Oxman, Nathan Inni Parzo, David Phillips, Sally Rabiner, George Rappaport, May Lori Reinhardt, Faye Rose, Mark David Rosen, Fanny Rich Rosenthal, Jules Ross, Ruth Roth, Harvey Scherer, Israel Schindler, Rose Schindler, Edith Sugar Schwartzbach, Harry Sennett, Dorothy Shapiro, Ronald Lewis Shapiro, Janet Siegel Leibowitz, Eva Silverman, Lena Goodman Singer, Thelma Sinrod, Evelyn Smith, Herman Steckler, H.L. Strasburger, Helen Verstandig, Rose Kitzman Weiner, Babette Hoffenmeyer Weinstein, Andrew Weissman, Miriam Whitty, Maury Young, Jack Zip, Pam Windsor, and Mai Guan. We also add to their names the names of those recently laid to rest: Esther Gould, Denny Munzer, Arthur Udell Riven, Stu Goldsmith, Miriam Fogelman, Jane Marie Connor, Louis Nevins, Jillian Weiner, Lindsay Weiner. We also know that many are thinking as well today of Queen Elizabeth II. We think of those in our own lives, those whose names have been mentioned, and then others whose names are in our hearts always. And I invite you, if you have a name that you want to share, whose yahrzeit or shloshim is at this time, I invite you to share their name aloud as well. With all of these names in our hearts, calling others now to mind as well, we rise together as we turn to page 294, and we join in Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish. Yit gadal v'yit gadash shemei rabbah, v'alma divrach yerutei v'yamlich malchusei, v'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol beis Yisrael, v'agalah v'zman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam olamei almaya, Yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yisba'ar, v'yisromam, v'yisnaseh, v'yisadar, v'yisaleh, v'yisalal, shemei d'kudashah, v'richu, le'elam min kol berchasa v'shirasa, tush b'chasa v'nechamasa, da'amiram b'alma, v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mrumav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, V'imru, amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved as we say together, amen. Please be seated. At this time, it is my pleasure to invite Lori Wise, who is the president of our Women of Washington Hebrew Congregation and a member of our board of directors, to present our Cami Lauren Nathanson Kiddush Cup to our B'nai Mitzvah.
Wow. The energy in the sanctuary tonight has really touched me deeply. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I'm Lori Wise, as Rabbi Shankman said, from the Board of Directors. I thank you for joining us tonight for this very special Welcome Home Shabbat. If you're a new member of Washington Hebrew, please be on the lookout for other members of the board and our Director of Membership Engagement, Jen Millstone. There she is. Say hi and learn about new ways to engage with Washington Hebrew. The High Holy Days are just a few weeks away, but we have a few events to know about before Rosh Hashanah. Memorial services will be at both cemetery locations, this Sunday, 10 a.m. in Southeast DC, and next Sunday at Garden of Remembrance. If you'd like a name to be read, please check the website for details, whctemple.org/HHD. Our Torah scrolls will also be prepared for High Holy Days on Saturday the 18th at our annual Slichot concert and service. There will be a cocktail reception before and dessert following. What else do we need? Also on Sunday, religious school starts up both here at the Temple and at Julia Bindeman Center. Please join the Unity Walk here at Temple at 1:30 p.m. And finally, registration is open for 12 Jewish questions, our amazing reintroduction to Judaism class. To learn more and register for these and other events, please check our website, whctemple.org. Read the Life at Washington Hebrew Congregation email each Thursday, or look through the journal. Every Shabbat, we increase our joy by reciting Kiddush. This is a moment when we remember the miracle of the Exodus and celebrate our freedom. At Washington Hebrew Congregation, we also use this moment in our service to remember Cami Lauren Nathanson and the power each person has to make an impact in our community and to change the world for the better. As we celebrate the milestone of our B'nai Mitzvah, Jacob Farb, Ariel Stopak, Danya Levine, we invite them to the Bima now, along with all the children who are present tonight, and that's a lot. Come on up. May the vision of these young people give us strength, pride, and hope in a brighter future.
You want to take one? Go ahead. Your binder? No? Okay, great. You know, probably grape juice is my guess, but I don't know for sure.
Vayehi Erev, Vayehi Voker, Yom Hashishi. And there was evening, and there was morning, the sixth day. The heaven and the earth were finished, and all their array. On the seventh day, God finished the work that God had been doing, and God ceased on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on it God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen. Praise to you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine.
Praise to you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who finding favor with us, sanctified us with mitzvot. In love and favor you made the holy Shabbat our heritage as a reminder of the work of creation. As first among our sacred days, it recalls the exodus of Egypt. You chose and sent us apart from the peoples. In love and favor you have given us your holy Shabbat as an inheritance. Praise to you, Adonai our God, who sanctifies Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen.
And we join together. We'll just, since the entire Kiddush has been read, we'll just join together in the first line, because we have a lot of kids who are desperate to drink their grape juice. So we join together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. L'chaim.
L'chaim.
Take a drink. Drink it up. Drink it if you haven't already. All right. And before you all go back to your seats, we're going to ask everyone to come congregate right here.
We want a big huddle, all of the kids in a big huddle.
Yes. We're going to... Okay, everybody underneath, everybody underneath.
Come on
All right.
May we always need more than one tallis.
Approximately underneath the tallis.
There's a baby mosh pit up here. All right.
Can you fit? Oh my goodness.
Is everybody
Amazing.
Beautiful.
close to the tallis? Oh, I love it. Looking out over there. Yeah. So everybody who's standing up here,
I just
all
heard
our
this
friends,
is a humongous hug.
it is like a humongous hug. I love that. And all of you who are up here, I want you to look at our friends in front of you, our 3 B'nai Mitzvah students, because someday you'll be standing there too, and they started where you are. And that's really part of the magic of growing up here. So we ask God's blessing on all of you, and we say, Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, may God bless you and watch over you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. May God shine divine light upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God show God's face to you and grant you and everyone you love the gift of peace. Amen.
Amen. All right. And while you go back to your parents to get a giant Shabbat hug, we're going to conclude our service.
We're going to conclude our service with a little bit of singing, but we also want to make sure, we know, we pointed out, Jen Millstone, there are a lot of staff who are involved in this Welcome Home Shabbat and our membership committee. Please, if somebody, I don't know if they have a special something on their name tag, you can see it. We have wonderful, wonderful people who help to make this home for all of us. And so we're so, so grateful to all of their work and for them inspiring us. And so we'll join together.
Shalom Aleichem, which it's on 323, is that right?
323, I believe.
We're not sure. But Shalom Aleichem, you know the words. Here we go. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharei, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Halachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharei, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Halachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharei, Malachei
month of Elul, one of the things we're supposed to do is ask forgiveness from people we might have harmed in some way, like having everybody up here for the Kiddush and then forgetting the challah was supposed to be right then when everyone was up here so that Mason could do the blessing with all the kids, which is the idea. So if you are a kid at heart or a child of any age, you're going to join with Mason in the blessing, and I am sorry. And rabbis say I'm sorry too. So it's good practice for us in this month. And Mason, by the way, is the younger brother of our bar mitzvah, Jake Farb. And now he's like, oh, I was hoping to just sneak out of here. All right, you ready?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon.
There's going to be challah waiting for us. It's actually good that we wait until the very end because there's so much good food out there that we're going to join in together. So we've now said the blessing, and we're going to... And we're going to sing. Are we singing our way in or we're not? We're going to sing our way in, and we hope that you'll join us, and we look forward to greeting you at our Oneg Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.